consoles. We've all had a console at some point in our lives. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this video had a Wii growing up because it looked fun, easy to play. Even your parents wanted to whoop Matt's ass in Wii Sports. And at the family functions when I was playing Mario Kart, even my Uncle Billy wanted a turn. I mean, he was driving into the wall and got last, but hey, he was trying. That's all that matters. And to be totally honest with you, I never had an Xbox 360 or a PS3. I'm sure some of you are going to be surprised by that, but my parents did not want me to get an Xbox because of Call of Duty, GTA, or any other violent game. So the fact that people grew up with different consoles, that's what started a console war. Now everybody wants to know, like, which console truly is the best? And honestly, there is no answer. And I'm sure somebody has butted into a conversation like this before and was like,
have you guys tried PC? It has a lot better specs than the...
Like, shut the fuck up, bro. We're not trying to listen to that right now. But at the end of the day, there is no true answer to which console is the best because it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Like, why the fuck is there even a console wars in the first place? There is no superior console in the first place. You just play what you play. I don't know. It's crazy to me that people actually have beef with each other over what consoles they pick. And a lot of people are just gonna pick one console because they're all expensive as hell, bro. So a lot of people aren't going to buy all of them. So for that reason, they stick with one console. But how did console wars start? I'm sure some of you might be wondering. Well, it was a thing for a while. You know, back in like the 80s and 90s, Sega and Nintendo were going at it. Nintendo and Sega had majority of the market share when it came to like consoles and things like that. Nintendo came out with the Super Nintendo and Sega came out with the Sega Genesis. And at that point, Sega was outperforming Nintendo, which led to people on having a stance on Sega being better than Nintendo. But again, some people took that shit way too seriously. There was beef going on between gamers alike, deciding which console they thought was better. And there were some people just absolutely meat riding Nintendo and Sega. And some people would have a whole essay of an explanation on why whatever console was better than the other. But I feel like a lot of the time it's mainly like Nintendo fans that are like, leave Nintendo alone. They're acting like they're about to get free games if they protect Nintendo with knight in shining armor. Like, okay, lil bro, it's just a console. It's not that serious. But when it comes to Nintendo glazers, okay, like some people just don't like Nintendo as a corporation. Like they literally sue anybody for anything. It could just be as simple as making a fan game or using a mod in one of their games. They will be rushing to sue them. And some people believe that Nintendo overcharges for their games. And that's why people don't really like Nintendo as a company. And you know what? That's fine if you don't like them as a company. But yeah, when people hate on Nintendo, some people will get so butthurt, it's ridiculous. And some people with Sega were the same way back when Sega was competing. But in 2001, after the release of the Dreamcast, Sega just could not compete anymore. PlayStation was starting to rise up, all right? The PS2 came out in March 2000, and the original Xbox came out in 2001. So obviously, one of the companies was bound to lose market share, and it happened to be Sega. And I guess the reason for this, some people say it's marketing issues. Some people say, like, there was issues with the console itself. I don't really know. I wasn't even born yet when the Xbox came out. My first Xbox console was an Xbox One. When I was in, like, 6th or 7th grade, I got an Xbox One. And I was happy because all my friends had an Xbox, and I wanted to join in, all right? I wanted to join in on these legendary Xbox parties they were talking about. And the only reason why I chose Xbox is because all my friends had Xbox. Like, there was no other reason, you know, I chose Xbox over the PS4. And sometimes I would go to my friend's house and, you know, I would play on their PS4 compared to the Xbox One, and there wasn't a difference. Besides, obviously, like the buttons and the feel of the controller, there was nothing that set it apart from the Xbox. Well, also besides the fact that the PS4 sounded like a jet engine when it was running. But seriously, I don't know why they were so loud, bro. Like, imagine trying to sneak play the PS4 at night when your parents are trying to sleep and then they just hear that loud-ass jet engine. Yeah, your ass is getting whooped. So for all the people that were talking about Xbox One being superior or PS4 being superior, you were bickering about absolutely nothing. There's no difference, really. I mean, if you prefer the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, that's fine. You know, some people don't really like the feel of the PS4 controller, or they were playing Xbox their entire life, whatever the case may be. But there's no reason to shit on somebody because they decided to get a PS5. But if they got a PS5 Pro, please bully the shit out of... Okay, I'm just kidding. But seriously though, who Who is paying $700 for a console with barely any upgrades? I'm pretty sure most people would agree with me on that one. But hey, if you really want a PS5 Pro, I guess you do you. Some people don't even want an Xbox or a PlayStation. They just prefer Nintendo. Honestly, whenever I'm playing solo games, yes, I absolutely prefer Nintendo. But whenever I'm playing multiplayer, nah, bro, we getting in that PS5 party. We gotta lock in real quick. Well, I used to have an Xbox One, but now I have a PS5. I seriously don't know what prompted me to buy the PS5, but I have it now, I guess. But still, bro, I can't sleep on the Nintendo games, bro. Like, they're just too goated. You got Mario, Pokemon, Kirby, Animal Crossing, you name it, bro. Like, they're just all goated. In the Nintendo eShop, I would just find random ass games that I didn't even know I was looking for. On my DS and 3DS, I was locking in on like the most random games. It would be like these random games that are like $10, and I would always beg my parents to buy them. So of course, when it came to that, I was D1. You know, it felt like there was endless games in this Nintendo eShop. But a huge problem with the DS is it did not have enough storage for me to have all these games on my DS. But according to the hardcore PC users, whatever console you use is absolutely irrelevant. These people like to claim that PC is the master of all these consoles, and PC is great because it has all these specs or whatever, but some people don't like to use mouse and keyboard. Some people want to just play on a controller. I honestly didn't even really like using mouse and keyboard to play games. I still play games on a controller, even though I have a PC now to make videos. Sometimes I use an Xbox controller, sometimes I use a PlayStation controller. I don't know, man. It doesn't really matter to me. But that's what I prefer to use to play games. All these neck-bearded Discord mods are gonna call me a plebeiant because I can't use a keyboard. Like, honestly, I'd rather be good at the game than suck ass, because I don't really sweat video games like that anymore. Like, the only time I really play competitive games is when my friends want me to get on. So for me, there's really no use. You know, I'd much rather just stick with what's familiar. But these PC riders always say like, well, the console's locked at a certain frame rate. I don't know the exact frame rate, but it's fine to me, dude. I don't need 300 frames a second when I'm playing a game. All that really matters to me is if the game can run smoothly. I don't care if it's running at the highest FPS of all time. But when it came to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, there was like a super limited supply of them. So sometimes people would have to wait months to get one of these consoles. That's why I got the PS5 in 2024, bro. Like, I was not getting it early. People were doing the most to try to get a PS5. There were resellers trying to sell it for like $5 grand. There was also people trying to fight for a PS5 at Walmart. Like, it's a goddamn video game console. And if anything, most of the games that you're playing, you could play them on PS4 anyway. At that point in time, there was really only a few games that were PS5 only. Yet people were so adamant on getting this shit early that they would fight somebody for it. Like, what the fuck? Like, I really didn't think it was that deep. Like, if I really wanted a PS5 and I tried to get one and they were sold out, I would just take the L and move on. I mean, I had a Nintendo Switch at that time anyway. And I could only imagine Black Friday at that point when the PS5 just dropped and the Xbox Series X. Like, I went Black Friday shopping once just to see the chaos unfold, and holy shit, it was chaos, all right. But the year the PS5 dropped, holy shit, it was way worse. It was kind of like that very first iPhone drop where like people were waiting in line to get that shit. Okay, a little side tangent. Why do people wait in line to get the new iPhone every year? It's pretty much the same thing as last year, bro. You're not getting anything new. But in this generation of consoles, the PS5 beat the Xbox in sales. I think it was by a pretty significant amount too. And a lot of it probably had to do with the fact that PS5 had more exclusive games on it, and they used that as an advantage to market the console to more people. And I really do like a lot of the exclusive games that come with the consoles. And some people are acting like since the Xbox didn't sell as much units that the PS5 is superior and PlayStation absolutely wipes Xbox in quality. Besides like the exclusive games and the controls, I really don't see a difference between the consoles. But this whole thing reminds me of like the iPhone versus Android craze. It shouldn't really matter what phone you use, what console you use. At the end of the day, it does the same thing. You get on the virtual game, and then you get off the virtual game. So it really isn't that deep at the end of the day. It's all up to personal preference. I personally think all the consoles are great. Well, except the Soulja Boy console. But if you want to watch me complain about something, watch this video on the end screen about the worst downgrades of all time.